They say betrayal cuts the deepest when it comes from someone you thought loved you. My name's Milo. I'm 36. And about a year ago, I was married to the woman I believed was the love of my life. Melinda. She was magnetic, charismatic, artistic, intelligent, beautiful in that effortless kind of way. People gravitated to her, and I was no exception. From the moment we met, it felt like she saw me in ways no one else ever had. Or so I thought. We dated for 2 years before we got married. Our relationship had that storybook glow in the beginning. Candlelit dinners, weekend getaways. She'd talk about our future, our dream home, kids, even her vision of the backyard garden she'd tend to while I grilled on the weekends. I ate it all up. I wasn't naive. I just loved her. Maybe too much. I had bought a house before I met her, a modest 2-bedroom just outside of Portland. When we got married, we agreed that after refinancing, I'd add her name to the deed. It felt right at the time. She was my wife, my partner. And then, I heard the truth. The words that changed everything. It was a Saturday morning. I remember because I was outside installing a new irrigation system she'd picked out on Pinterest. I was covered in dirt, sweat dripping off my brow, but I felt good, productive. That's when I heard her voice. The kitchen window was cracked open above me. She was on the phone with her mother, and what I heard stopped me dead in my tracks. Don't really love him, Mom. I never did. I'm just waiting for the house to get transferred into his name so I can divorce him and take it. He's fragile. It'll be easy. It hit like a punch to the stomach. She laughed after she said it, like it was a game. Like I was a game. I stood there, silent, heart racing, mind spiraling. I couldn't move. Couldn't believe the words I just heard were coming from the woman I loved. A quiet death. Something in me died that day. But not the way she expected. I didn't rage. I didn't confront her. I didn't let her see an ounce of what I'd heard. I smiled through dinner. We watched a show together. She kissed me goodnight and told me she loved me, and I said it back. But I had already begun collecting every receipt. I could Operation Milo. The next morning, I started building my revenge. Get legal advice. I found a divorce lawyer with experience in high-conflict marital disputes, told him everything. He immediately halted the deed transfer process and suggested, we build a legal trap. We'd let her believe she was winning, while documenting every step. Gather evidence. I installed a small audio recorder under her desk, legal in my state. Over the next month, I recorded hours of damning conversations. Melinda bragged to her friends, laughed about how he'll never see it coming. One call included the words, it's just a waiting game, he's so easy to manipulate. Play along. For the next few weeks, I was the perfect husband. I cooked her favorite meals. I planned a weekend getaway. I told her I'd start paperwork for the house soon. Her eyes sparkled when I said it. I almost vomited. She didn't know that while she was planning my downfall. I was laying hers. The legal trap. I told her we needed to meet with a notary to finalize things. She insisted on handling some design choices for the house first, saying she wanted it to feel more like her home. Of course she did. The day of the meeting, she wore her favorite red blazer. Confident, smiling, she signed the paperwork. What she didn't know was that she wasn't signing a deed transfer to herself. She was signing a waiver of rights to the property under the guise of a mortgage adjustment, legally binding. Ironclad. 2 days later, I served her divorce papers. At her job. Meltdown Melinda. The fallout was instant. She came home that night screaming, crying, threatening lawsuits. I sat her down and calmly slid a USB across the table. Held over 30 hours of her recorded conversations. You planned to rob me, I said. But I planned smarter. She was pale. Her hands shook as she clicked through the files. She tried to flip it, claimed emotional abuse, manipulation. But everything was already in my lawyer's hands. She left the house that night in silence. It was no longer hers. Update. 3 months passed. She tried to spin it online, claimed I abandoned her, that I was unstable. Her fans rallied for about 2 days. Then I dropped a redacted version of the recordings on Reddit and quietly sent them to a few of her biggest sponsors. Her narrative collapsed overnight. She lost 12K followers. 3 sponsorships cut ties. The once glamorous Melinda was now being subtweeted and memed. And I slept like a baby. Update. 6 months later, Melinda tried to sue me for defamation and emotional trauma. The judge dismissed it before it went to trial. The recordings were damning. Even her own lawyer seemed annoyed with her. Her reputation was in tatters. The art influencer couldn't get collaborations anymore. She moved back in with her mother and took up substitute teaching. Meanwhile, I started seeing someone new. Slowly, carefully. Trust was hard, but I was healing. Update. 3 years passed. The house was paid off. I took time off work, traveled, hiked the Rockies, watched the northern lights in Alaska. I started therapy, adopted a golden retriever named Bishop, my loyal companion. Melinda tried to launch a YouTube channel, didn't take. The comments section flooded with people who recognized her from my story. She tried changing her name online, but the internet never forgets. I've moved on. I've learned that love should never come with conditions or contracts designed to steal from you. What Melinda taught me is simple. People who lie will always tell on themselves, eventually. So if you're out there and you feel something's wrong, listen to your gut. And when it's time to act, be calm, be cold, be strategic. Because revenge isn't rage, it's clarity. And when it hits hard. Thanks for sticking through to the end. If this story gave you chills or satisfaction, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more nuclear Reddit revenge stories every week. Have your own Milo moment? Share it below. And remember, never underestimate the quiet ones. We're just gathering data,